Uh, Thanks everybody for tuning in to this panel. Very, very excited to host this panel as moderator. Basically have my friends here as panelists. So yeah, very, very excited. Looking forward to it. I figured we'd get started by doing some quick introductions. I'll start. Alexis Johnson, president of Light Known Media. We focus on advisory, marketing, and events for projects in the Web3 space. Separately, I run an investment network for professional athletes and entertainers called Legends Investment Network.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Valentine. I'm partner at Avis Lair. We're a Web3 early stage venture fund. We also incubate some companies from technology that we incubate in-house. I'm just excited to be on this panel and really dive into something that I think is a really important topic, especially, given the way that crypto started and really focusing on, banking the unbanked. That was like a really strong theme, and I'd like to see us get back to that. And I think we get back to that through investing in emerging markets and diverse founders.
Hi everyone, I'm Ciara, founder of C-Square Ventures. We are a early stage Web3 venture fund, funded actually just last year. Prior to founding C-Square Ventures, I was head of listing and investment at Huobi Group, also managing the global markets and institutional business unit. And prior to that, I was doing consulting, international finance. Very excited to be here and to be on this panel.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny from Animoca. I'm currently VP of Investments. So Animoca Ventures is the official VC arm of Animoca Group, which is a notable investor in Web3, especially in blockchain gaming, as well as entertainment and IP.
Hi everyone, welcome to Cold Denver. My name is Etiënne from TRGC. It's my fourth Denver. Happy to see it growing every year. I'm the managing partner of TRGC, early stage venture fund, and we're hardcore focused on infrastructure. Whatever makes these network function from day to day, that's where we find our sweet spot.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, thank you for the introductions. Let's get started. First question for everybody here. How has your investment thesis and really your overall focus changed given the current market conditions? Starting with Etiënne.
I guess what you're asking about, it comes down to discipline, right? Our focus and thesis didn't change one bit for this market. We're still deploying. We feel like even more, there's a lot of incredible teams building incredible products that need funding. They're underpriced, undervalued, and we want to scoop them up early. And we want to support them, take them to market, or help them execute on their roadmap goals. So it hasn't changed. Matter of fact, we slowed down investing in Q4 21 as we were seeing 25-year-olds flying to conferences in private jets. It was time for us to exit.
I think for us, the market goes up and down, but our core thesis has never really changed. We're very fundamental investors. We believe in backing innovation, backing on strong founders, and I think our core thesis is how to onboard the next million users onto blockchain, and we believe that would be through gaming, through entertainment, and as an extension of that, we're also looking for better infrastructure as well as middleware to kind of empower that transition.
So first, start with our thesis. We are sector agnostic, and we prefer to put in the tech early and really grow with the team and provide our operational expertise for how to build our tokenomics, listing strategies, secondary market strategies, and how to build a well-rounded community for the token, and help the token go to market alongside with the team's product go to market. And I'd say, given current market condition, what happened, all of the incident happened last year, it gave us tons of opportunity to see new DeFi protocols to capture the market share that's left, FTX or other centralized asset management platforms. so that I think in the future, either it's going to be like decentralized exchanges with aggregate liquidity and order book experiences for institutions to really have a seamless trading experiences, or it's just fully regulated exchanges like Coinbase or Hashkey just recently got the Hong Kong exchange license. So we are looking at more products and projects, protocols to fix the problem for onboarding institutions with a decentralized trading experiences.
I would say that, going back to what Etiënne said, there is no change if you're a disciplined investor. I think, especially if you're an investor that has seen several technology cycles, the prices go up and down, the valuations go up and down, the hype of the tech, will move from speculative to overglorified to reality. And so for us, and I think all investors, it's an opportunity to invest at a lower cost basis. But I think that right now, I think it's a great time to find people who are actually building regardless of the hype. And I think that's just a natural evolution of any emerging technology sector. And so, you can look at internet, you can look at AI, and just think about how all of those technologies were hyped. And then what we ended up getting at the end of those hype cycles were the unicorns, right? And so you have to be investing during these, sort of times where I guess everybody else is scared. Sort of the blood in the street analogy. I wish there was a less violent one, right? But, if you have investors that are afraid to invest, then they're like, it's just consensus thinking. And I think that really good investors are thinking contrarily. And so that's what, how I feel about it.
Awesome. And next question for everybody, but starting with you, Kevin, at Avasler. Like, what narratives and trends are you guys most excited about?
Well, I think there are several. Since we're talking about emerging markets, I think anything related to DeFi, to enable financial services in areas where, either there isn't traditional infrastructure or any way to be able to create markets around assets that were, currently illiquid or less transparent or has poor pricing models. And so generally we're excited there. I think just, if you take a walk around, you'll see there are a lot of DeFi projects here. But on the other end of that, I'm really excited about infrastructure. I think infrastructure gives us, sort of that abstraction of the technology that allows, anyone to be able to not know there is, a ZK proof or, a roll up or whatever it is that's in the background. You just need the technology to work, right? Sort of similar to like, I don't really need to know how a CDMA chip works for my mobile phone. I just need to pick it up, call, right? And so those sorts of plays, I think, are the ones that are most exciting. And I think that those are like also revenue generating ones. And I think that that's something that is a self-sustainable business as opposed to, hoping on the speculation of a token, exclusively.
So I think the next bull market is when the condition for it to really come back. Two different things. First is capital, and second is users. So for users, we look at mass adoptions protocols. So that's why we invest heavily into gaming, SocialFi, and other application layers that can really onboard and bridge users from Web 2 world to Web 3. And then for capital, we're also looking at new DeFi, just like what I talked about in the last question, right? So protocols that can use smart contract to increase the efficiency, transparency, and security for traditional financial institutions to come into the market. Those are the areas that we are focusing on. So 2 examples. First is options trading. In traditional finance, it's supposed to be 10 times bigger than derivatives, but in crypto, it's reversed, right? So there's a big market there. So that we look heavily into the options trading sectors. And then second would be interest rate swap. In traditional finance, derivatives or interest rate swap is supposed to be a 450 trillion US dollars market, where in crypto is just purely missing. So we're also looking at those protocols. For example, we invested in IBOR, recently launched, doing great. Capture a lot of the markets right there, targeting for traditional institutions to come into DeFi.
From our side, definitely gaming is something that we are consistently looking at. And within gaming, the SLG category is something that we're extremely bullish on because it has quite a big market. It's a very special type of game. I think that's very good for blockchain adoption. It doesn't need a lot of users because each user has a very high ARPU. And it comes with an in-game economy that works well with tokens, that is open. And apart from gaming, we're also quite bullish on anime-fi because actually the anime industry is a $25 billion industry that's waiting to be disrupted. And within the anime community, has had years of trends of community crowdfunding their favorite IPs, and that eventually becomes a huge IP. But these fans put up their own capital. It's kind of like a donation. And I think only blockchain technology and smart contract can kind of help them capture the value that's only open to very professional and selected investors.
Interesting. From a narrative angle, what excites us is from infrastructure is cloud, cloud storage, better wallets, interconnectivity. I've seen, for instance, bridges getting better. We might be bullish on DeFi any given moment of the day, but without liquidity or users, we're just building for thin air. If you look at projects like Beamer or Hub Protocol, they're doing great work in making it possible to seemingly execute our orders across chains. So those are areas that we feel that are only going to get better. And secondly, I think security, cybersecurity in general is still an underserved market. I feel like our industry is too complacent. It's a daily hack almost, and we just shrug it off and order the next latte. So I feel like white hackers, anything with security related, needs definitely more attention, and we're making sure we play our parts in that.
Awesome. So yeah, next question is more focused on, the opportunities within emerging markets. In your guys' opinion, have you guys started to, directly, have you guys started to deploy into emerging markets? And are there any specific regions that are on your radar more so than other regions? Starting with Kevin.
Yes, so we have deployed in emerging markets. And I think that when you start to look at some of the deals that have happened in Africa over the past year, you've seen the number of unicorns starting to grow. It's just, numbers, right? So by 2050, 1 in 4 people on this planet will be African, right? And then the rest of the population will be, Southeast Asia, et cetera, right? So deploying in markets that are growing, that those provide the opportunity for asymmetric returns. So we've deployed in Latin America. We employed, one of our founders is African. And so we're also heavily focused on participating in that ecosystem as well.
So investing in emerging markets come with lots of risks, right? So it's regulation risks. It's not very stable, and also currency. It's very volatile. But we constantly look at different opportunities in the emerging markets. For example, in Southeast Asia, gaming, Web3 GameFi kind of started there, right? With Axie, with YGG, it kind of changed the fundamental ways for the residents there to make money. And like $1 or $2, it doesn't make a difference in the States, but it can change their life in the Philippines. So we, back at Huobi, I was early stage founder investors in YGG and Axie. So I saw how it can really make revolutions happen in those countries. So we are constantly looking at deals, gaming related, social related. So mass adoptions for users for application layers in Southeast Asia. And also, we are looking at deals such as exchanges, payment remittance in countries like Turkey and Russia, and overall very bullish about Asian markets next cycle.
Our portfolio is also quite global, and we're also very early investors into Axie and YGG. We think that there's a lot of really great setups in these emerging countries, especially in Asia, because of the sheer size of the population, and this population serves as a big enough TAM, and that actually in these emerging nations, the amount of time people spend online is much higher than developed nations. It's usually the north of more than 10 hours. So I think it makes sense for digital livelihood, a digital economy, to be spun out of that. And another good thing about these nations is that there's a lot of talents at a much lower cost versus other parts of the world. And I think this is very kind of beneficial for startups that's looking for high quality talent.
Interesting. Emerging markets, I think if you step back for a second, anything in itself can be a emerging markets. And I'll give you two examples. We're reviewing a deal, for instance, in a founder in Kenya, in the payment space, remittance space, with instant settlement over the Bitcoin network. But if you step back for a second, even the US is, in my opinion, one of the largest emerging markets. Think of housing and healthcare, right? What can we do there, right? So I feel like emerging, in a sense, means go where no one else is looking, or there's not a lot of competition, and have the bold and the thesis, the team, the partners to be able to execute on that. So that's the way I want to think about it. It's a lot of influx, for instance, in capital we've seen in Lagos, Nigeria. Ciara mentioned Turkey, for instance. We saw recent data, Turkey being one of the largest volume-wise for exchanges, and it just blew my mind, more than the majority of most European countries. So indeed, if you look deeper under the surface and look beyond typical cliche narratives, there's definitely opportunity there across this planet.
Yeah, and next question, starting with Kevin. When it comes to your portfolio, can you highlight any specific diverse founders, whether it be women, Latin American, what have you? And then, why is it important to back diverse founders in this industry?
So we have several diverse founders in our portfolio. So, I guess African Americans, Latin Americans, Chinese nationals, as well as Africans. There are actually two Africans who met at university here at Princeton. But I think the why, in terms of just why invest in diverse founders, is, all right, let's just start with if this is finance, then portfolio optimization, and that should be what you're thinking about in terms of how you go about managing the money that you've been, given stewardship over. So we invest in, founders that are smart, ambitious, and I don't see how, what their melatonin content of their skin would have anything to do with, their intellectual capacity to be able to come up with a great idea. And I think it's just smart business. If you're only swimming in the same pools, and, shout out to anybody that went to Harvard or Stanford, great for you, especially if you earned it and you're not just legacy. But that can't be the only place where great ideas come from. It's just 100% impossible. I went to a historically black college. I think that was a great pool of talent. And so it's just really just like good business to look outside of where everybody else is, going back to that point about consensus. And so, yeah, it's just portfolio diversification and optimization in my eyes. And I think it's, about time that we start really supporting people that have great ideas and breaking down the barriers that we sort of like build in society, which it usually has to do with what school you went to or what watch you're wearing or, where you vacation, et cetera. Like, so, those things I think are really bad for business because you get the same type of individuals who just rehypothecate ideas. And in this case, in this industry, money. So I think, those are reasons why I think it's really, important. And then, like I said, I think it's just asymmetric returns. You have to find, places where there's less competition to be able to invest and see a greater upside on your investments.
Diversification is important. It brings different perspectives on the table. I'm I'm pretty diverse founder. Female, Asian. The reason I came into the Web3 space and quit traditional finance is just, in Wall Street, as a young Asia female, your ceiling is like very, very obvious. And that's one thing I really like about Web3 and crypto is very open-minded. So at C Square Ventures, we invested tons of deals that has diverse founders. So female founders, for example, Valkyrie, that's the first bunch of Bitcoin ETF that got approved in the States. The founder is a girl, it's Leah. She's awesome. During the whole time, she set up the company, getting the approval for ETF, getting the company publicly listed on NASDAQ. The whole time she was pregnant, having a kid, and feeding the kid. It was amazing. She replies to my messages just like within seconds even. Like she's just a very, very strong female founder, and other founders as well. Like we support Asia founders. For example, Project Galaxy, CyberConnect, Etiënne. That's the deal that we collab with Hashed and Dragonfly in Vietnam, gaming infrastructure. And we also support founders that are representing LGBTQ. I think that's pretty much the theme here as we see all the rainbow bridges here. So if you're a diverse background founder, come find us and we'd love to chat with you.
So our portfolio is very global, and not only do we believe that diversity can really bring benefits and innovations, but we have seen that more diverse teams, they actually come up with more new ideas and they ship faster. So when we invest, we really like teams that have people from different backgrounds.
Beautiful. I'm looking at two actually, future portfolio companies. And I think my opinion on the matter is let's agree that, and I talk to these founders all the time, whether we invest in them or not, let it be based on merit. Become so good at what you do, nothing and anyone can ignore you, right? What is good, savvy, resilient, smart, they know what they're doing, they have that clear 3-year, 4-year roadmap, will get picked up. I'm 100% confident of that. And that's the message we push. And we don't care if it's on Mars or on Venus, we don't invest in anyone. And we sincerely stick by that.
Awesome. As we're kind of like running out of time here, I wanted to open it up to the audience to ask any of the panelists any question that you may have.
Good to see you. Hi, everybody. Hi, panelists. My name is President. I founded Impact, and we program and advise the largest Black-led digital assets in the world. Given Black History Month just wrapped up, and I know many of y'all are not from the States, but Black History Month is when we celebrate the achievements and legacy of African Americans. I just want to know who is deliberately and intentional about investing in particularly the people that built America but have zero equity in the capital markets. And my whole thesis and my passion is access to capital. So the reality of it is for those that don't know, like being a Black American and descendant of slaves in this country is like being treated very, very badly. and we have effectively 0% of access to institutional capital. And I fervently believe that crypto and blockchain is the way from which we can catch up. But I just want to hear more about y'all thoughts on particularly the Black American community and just the Black community in general, and creating access for us, given that we built this land and have so little to show for it.
First of all, I'm based in Europe. So I don't feel like I have that much of an intel as for instance, Kevin would have on how US is situated as a society, right? I could have my opinions of it. Anyone approach me after the panel, happy to chat about it. Me and President had a few interesting debates in Dubai 3 weeks ago. And so I feel like history, as history changes and social standards change, change is a constant in nature, right? I spoke with a founder yesterday. They recently raised 50 million, and he was born in the lowest caste in India, right? Where access to education was not even an option, right? So his parents didn't even have the benefits to go to school, right? They were born for literally clean toilets. Now, his generation now, they have access to education, and he just is a professor at a well-known US university and be able to raise that money. So I feel like as social standards change, we're in good shape, and I'm hopeful for the future.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the panel. And if you have questions for panelists, feel free to ask. Thanks again.
Thank you.